What's good, YouTube? LCB on Faith come with another deck profile with a Granfia 2.0 deck profile at that too. So I've been playtesting and working around and switching cards, and overall like this deck. I don't care. And the fact that they got support coming, best believe I'm gonna stay with this deck. So Granfia is a deck that builds plant tokens, right? And then makes a Noble Rose token behind Vanguard and make them become plant gauges, So Granfia as a Vanguard gets really big and makes your opponent not want to block him, right? So how I was playing the deck before was running fronts and crits, like a whole rainbow lineup, and it worked out for the long run, but I found myself losing certain matches because I needed that extra crit. I won most of my matches because I could live because I had the front trigger because it's the 20k shield. So I did a lot of changes in the deck and I made it more aggro based. And in my opinion, Granfia is a good deck. I don't know why people say it's trash. Glass Cannon, yes. Can it keep up with most of the meta decks? Maybe, depending on high roll situations or what happens in the game state, and what you could get versus what your opponent gets, really. So, ride line is still the same. Got your grade 0 Granfia, grade 1 feature Granfia. When the grade 2 rides on top of the grade 1, he gains a plant token, right? And then because you have a plant token and the grade 1 is sold, you're allowed to ride grade 3 for free, without discarding the card. The reason why I think they gave him this ride line is due to the fact that it's a rush deck, all right? Glass Cannon rush deck, or whatever you want to call it, rush your opponent fast as possible, and hopefully you get them to get to the point where they can't sustain, and you win the game pretty much. Right now, this is the build I got for you right now. I'm at 2.0. I think it's really good. You got your 3 extra Granfias, right? Because you want a Persona ride. Then the additive cards I had in the deck, took them out, playing Clapping Dragons, all right? I only run 2 at the moment because I don't want it to clog my hand. It's a good card. I'm not saying it's a bad card. It's a really good card. What I find myself in the position of is my opponent, once I use it, I do what I gotta do, and my opponent leaves this card alone, right? So when I get the new support, that grade 1 that you have to retire unit to get 2 plant tokens, obviously the next turn I'm gonna retire this unit and play her. So playing 2 of these. 2 of the Festival Collection grade 3s. Pretty much her usage is for me to mill and gain power. That's all I'm doing with her. She's good just in case you have to block. She had 10k shield if your opponent gets triggers. When that happens, when she attacks, once per turn, you get to mill the top 2 cards of your deck and soul charge 1. And if all of them are Noma units, she gains 5k. If one or both are triggers, she gains 15k instead. And then if you have an over trigger and drop, you get to remove it and add a Noma unit to hand. So she pretty much adds you a PG back from drop if you remove an over trigger. So then, like for grade 2s, grade 2 change. I took out Tideline Dragon for the recycler. Due to the fact that I try to play both Tideline and her, both of them was clogging my hand. I found myself wanting to play Tideline on the field and her at the same time, but I needed the plant tokens. I also found I find that playing Tideline on the field with another unit that I wanted to play at the time, kind of clogs up my field usage. It kind of sucked. So I took Thailand out, play her instead. I only use her for recycling purposes to ride up from grade 1 to 2. The only thing is when you're doing this or when you're recycling, you don't want to get rid of the grade 1. You need the grade 1 to ride the grade 3 for free. So I only use her like turn 1, right? So blast the grade 1. Then I drew a card. Then when it comes to grade 2 and you have her on hand, you want to at least have mushroom in your hand. So for instances, so y'all don't get confused, all right? You ditch her, you soul blast, you drew. If you have mushroom in hand, this is when you want to use mushroom. Use mushroom, cold 2 plant tokens, you rush, right? Next turn, you use her, soul blast mushroom, so you can still have the grade 1 in soul, all right? And you ride grade 2. So then you don't have to worry about not riding your grade 3 for free. All right, that's 1. 2, next grade 2 is the same combination of grade 2s I've been running. You run your 4 orange, he's a staple. If you see him turn 2, you just calm down. You have a 10, 15, 10 line, which rushes your opponent down. And if he doesn't get a trigger, guess who's pissed? Him. The best grade 2 rush down is this. Your 2 copies of Elena. All right. You'll ditch orange. Say, for instance, you don't see the recycler at all. You ditch your orange. Then you call her down. You're calling back the orange. And then you have a 15, 20K line. And whenever your opponent gets a trigger, at least you have 1 column to still hit. All right. Then I play this order, Nectar of Sensationalism, right? For every 5 cards in drop, a unit gets 5K, right? I see, and then if you have 15 in drop, that unit you give the power to gets a crit, right? This usually closes out my games, and it works usually on my Persona ride turn or the next turn. Why, you say? How can that happen? How can that be? Is all due to the fact that you have this grade 3. Yeah, grade 3, and then you're seeing, for whatever reason, you're seeing frozen resentment throughout the game, right? You're always ditching 1 from the top 3 for frozen resentment, and you're milling 2 every time you attack with her. So it kind of speeds up the pace for this to work. You could test it out if you want. I run it to get the crit or just give a unit 10K, you know. 5K is good too, but I run it to get the 10K or the 15K with a crit. That's the reason why I run it. You can always have this be the Gradle, right? So you can have Persona Ride. You could have this be, because I took out a copy of Darien. You could put this to 4, Darien to 4. You could have this be another Elena or Recycler if you want to see Recycle a lot more, but I'm using this as like a flex slot and I like it. Your units need to see the other column that you're not attacking with needs to see power, so this gives it power. Or if your opponent's at 4 damages, use Clapping Dragon that turn, count +1 draw, 10K. He's 23. You have 15 in drop. get 15k here with a crit, and then you're pressuring your opponent with a big number with a crit every time because you're going to restand this card. Then if you saw a crit on your draw check, you put on the other rear. That's devastating. All in all, that's devastating. So now, for grade 1s, 2 Frozen Resentment. Explanatory. You want to revive your cards back. Be able to Soul Blast. Soul Blast your mushrooms. And call them back. Put them in Soul. Get 2 plant tokens and give a unit 5k. It matters. With that being said, I run 3 mushrooms. It's a beautiful card. At first, I neglected it being a bad card, but seeing it actually makes it worthy of a good card. 2 pumpkins, took out Diantha for these 2. I found myself always wanting to call over Diantha in general because I needed to make more plant tokens. It's still good. It's still good. It's still a good card, Diantha. But right now, playing pumpkin. Soul Blast 1. If you're a grade 3 Granfia. Let me see. If you have Vanguard with Granfia's card name, Soul Blast 1, call a plant token. If your Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, call 2 plant tokens. Right? You're calling 2 off of him, 2 off of this, 2 off of orange. You're making a big Vanguard in general. 3 PGs, 1 Sanctitude for your grade 4 matchups, Chrono Jet matchup, Messiah matchup. Running 3 Darien, Draw Engine. Triggers. It's gonna be switched up. I made it 1 OT, 3 draws. Right? 1 OT, 3 draws. Got 8 crit. Took up the fronts because I found myself needed more crit pressure. I love my fronts, but I took it out because I need more crits. 4 heals. All in all, hopefully when the other support comes in, I'm able to run fronts over this. That's hopefully my dream right now. Heals, you could take out 2 heals and run the crit heals that gains, which is a 10k shield and gains 15k if a unit gains a crit through skill. At the moment, I found myself not versing those decks. It's kind of weird. Yes, I versed a Grandiva player before. That matchup was weird. I feel like if they get their order off to every time they retire they draw, then you're behind and you're going to lose. I'm not gonna lie. If they don't use it and you decide to, because I did it before, and to be honest, I'm fine with it. I found myself, you need to be going first against Grandiva with the Granfia deck, and you have to pressure him throughout the every turn. Pressure him every turn with calling the full field of plant tokens. When you get to grade 3, do not call your Noble Rolls. That's just me. I choose not to call Noble Rolls, and I'll just have a full field of plant tokens and just swing. The next turn they'll pop your plant tokens, and you'll just call the units that gain plant tokens, and you should be fine. You like regain, sustain. Yeah, that's my Granfia deck profile. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, hit me up. Comment down below, like, share, subscribe. I will do I'm thinking of Drag Jewel deck profile next. I'm working up the kinks. I could also do a Unica deck profile if y'all want. Still working out the kinks there too. Thank you.